Deep in the heart of the Amazon rainforest, where towering trees stretched toward the sky and rivers carved their way through the wilderness, a battle was taking place, one that no one could see. The warrior in this fight was no ordinary creature. It was a jaguar, a symbol of strength, power, and survival. But today, this magnificent predator was losing. Its golden coat, once a dazzling masterpiece of nature, was now marred by open sores, its muscular frame weakened by an invisible enemy. Beneath the surface of its flesh, something terrible was happening, an invasion beyond comprehension, wriggling, burrowing, and multiplying. Millions of parasitic worms had turned this mighty hunter into a living host, consuming him from the inside out. This was not just another case of infection, this was a nightmare unfolding in the wild. But this is not just a story of suffering, it's a story of resilience, of a daring mission to save a creature on the brink of death, and of a fight against the relentless grip of nature's most insidious invaders. A team of wildlife researchers, deep into their routine expedition, moved cautiously through the jungle. Their mission, to track and study the elusive creatures of the rainforest, to understand their behaviors, and to document the secrets of this biodiverse paradise. But today, their mission would change. As they scanned the dense undergrowth, their eyes fell upon something unusual. A jaguar, alone, struggling, barely recognizable. Its once powerful stride was sluggish, its movements heavy with exhaustion. It was clear that something was terribly wrong. As the creature took another agonizing step, the researchers noticed a horrifying detail. Pulsating movement beneath the jaguar's skin, worms. Not just one, not just a few, hundreds, maybe thousands, writhing beneath the surface, eating away at the jaguar from within. The sight was beyond distressing. The predator was infested, its body turned into a breeding ground for parasites that were draining its life force. The researchers knew they had to act fast. But how do you save an apex predator, one capable of delivering a lethal attack in an instant? How do you capture and heal a creature that, despite its suffering, still possessed the instincts of a wild hunter? Time was running out. The jaguar was weakening. If left untreated, the parasites would continue their merciless assault, spreading through its organs, shutting down its system, and ultimately killing it. The team quickly devised a plan. The only option was to tranquilize the animal, carefully, efficiently, and with the least amount of stress possible. A single mistake could cost the jaguar its life, whether through overdose or if it fled into the jungle, beyond their reach. The dart gun was prepared and the researcher took aim. Every second felt like an eternity. A soft hiss. Contact. The jaguar reacted, its body tensing as the sedative began to take effect. For a moment it looked as though it might escape, its instincts fighting against the unnatural sensation spreading through its veins, but then, its legs wobbled. Its breathing became heavy, and finally, with a slow, reluctant surrender, the great beast collapsed. As the team rushed to the fallen predator, they braced themselves for the grim task ahead. They had expected parasites, but nothing could have prepared them for the true extent of the infestation. One by one, they began the gruesome process of extracting the invaders. Large, wriggling worms were pulled from open sores, their slimy bodies twisting in resistance. Some were deeply embedded, having burrowed into the jaguar's muscles, feeding on its strength for what could have been months. The wounds left behind were raw, gaping, and horrifying. The jungle's apex predator had become a victim, its body transformed into a living, breathing nightmare. With each extraction, the team administered powerful anti-parasitic treatments, ensuring that any remaining worms within the bloodstream would be eradicated. Painkillers were given to ease the suffering. Antibiotics were applied to prevent infections from the open wounds. But would it be enough? Could the jaguar recover from such an assault? Only time would tell. The jaguar was transported to a wildlife rehabilitation center, a place where the wild and the wounded found refuge. Here, in a controlled environment, the real battle began. For days, the predator lay motionless, its body exhausted from the ordeal. Every meal had to be carefully prepared, every movement monitored. The risk of secondary infections loomed like a shadow, threatening to undo the work the team had done. But nature, despite its cruelty, also bestows resilience. Slowly, the jaguar's golden coat began to regain its luster. The dullness in its eyes faded, replaced by a glimmer of strength. Day by day, its muscles grew stronger. Yet, one question remained: could it ever hunt again? Could it return to the wild, reclaim its place in the jungle, and become the apex predator it once was? The moment of truth had arrived. The jungle, once a place of suffering, was waiting. The team had done everything they could, Now it was up to the Jaguar, transported back to the very place where they had found him. The Jaguar stood at the threshold of his kingdom once more. The cage door swung open. For a second there was hesitation. The jungle had once been a place of torment, a nightmare of parasites and suffering. But then, as if remembering who he was, the Jaguar took a step forward, and then another. And then, with a powerful leap, he vanished into the dense undergrowth. The researchers watched their mission complete. The Jaguar was free. He was wild once more. The Amazon rainforest is a land of extremes, a place where beauty and brutality exist side by side. For the Jaguar, it had been a battlefield, a place where it faced an enemy more relentless than any rival. But through resilience, intervention, and the unwavering spirit of survival, it overcame the impossible. This is the true essence of nature, a world where suffering exists, but so does strength. A world where even the strongest can fall, but they can also rise again. And sometimes, even the wildest of creatures need a helping hand.